Yeah, hey, this is Retrokid Reviews. Full-on spoilers. Not for my hair, not being in the shot for once, I gotta get it cut. No, for Terminator Dark Fate, because I tried leaving this as a vlog, I tried leaving this as traditional, I guess, kayfabe here for the channel. Quick thing, I guess, like the Machine's Rising, my camera does not want to delete the right footage I want to delete. So, that being said, sorry, but the only reason why there's actually any and all spoilers for this video, and more or less this review, is the opening 5 minutes of the movie. So again, I highly recommend seeing the movie first if you're at all curious. Because again, it really crapped on my heart with this opening. It's an opening. For context, for anyone who is seeing the footage, this is a day after the fact. You have to see the full numbers on the box office, and if this at all has enough money to make an actual sequel, or in this case, trilogy, like they all try to do. But while I'm here, before we get to it, my redaction, or I guess me trying to retcon my actual opinions 3 years after the fact of Genesis. Yeah, Genesis is shit. I'm gonna have a totem pole hierarchy coming up because I'm also gonna graft a lot of facts that I forgot to mention in the original footage from Kinda Funny's every movie and review podcast. It's a really good podcast. I highly recommend it. I'm only gonna leave either T2 or T1 that they covered on the cards because they didn't do a full playlist yet for their version for their Terminator their Terminator podcasts. And they kind of stuck it to just the James Cameron film, so you already know that it's going to be a far cry for this movie. So let's get to the plot. The good news for the first, I want to say 60 seconds in, you know, when they usually do their logos and stuff, glossed it over with Lyndall Hamilton's therapy sessions from T2. Which is really cool. Just to give you the idea what you're getting into. And she reiterated about 97 not happening. That robot war. I was gonna say future war. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, she basically is smash cut to like a year later, and I forgot to mention this when I went to do I don't know that. More than 60 seconds. Long story short, there was a lot of de-aging for her and John, which kind of doesn't make sense because I think he was growing still in 98. I think in 98 he was doing either a Kiss movie, technically? I don't know everything about Edward Furlong's filmography other than T2, I think a 70s movie, and I think a Crow movie, weird as it sounds. And, yeah, Edward Furlong showed up to ADR the de-aged John to basically get killed by a Terminator. Shows up at a resort that they went to in 98. That's your first 5 minutes. So in case you can tell that was the dumbest idea ever, for those who are in the Alien franchise, kind of knows where this is going. This is basically their Alien 3, and they thought they could kind of be cool with it. I don't know. Like, John was the legacy character, and yeah, he counts as a legacy character that you want to see live, that you want to see outlive, you know, the original characters and stuff like that. And, it's kind of in the same vein like MKX when that came out, because I like all the legacy characters. I think all of them are cool. And now I guess since I also try to protest... Okay, another thing for the channel, I'm sorry, but I try to protest vote, more like protest review, by getting a NECA figure of any of the Terminator figures, or just me playing MK11 with the Terminator story tower. I highly recommend the card to that character ending, because that character ending is better than Carl in this movie. We're gonna get to Carl in a minute. Don't you worry. We're gonna fucking call him Carl. So, since I'm already demonetized, yeah, Smash Cut's 22 years, which doesn't really make sense. Should be 21. Math's off, who cares? To Sarah in the present, still kicking Terminator ass. There's a subplot I also forgot to mention that she gets cryptic tweaks, not tweets, texts to go to certain locations. I'll explain that backstory and slash subplot because it was Carl's idea in a minute, and you're gonna wonder why I'm calling him Carl. Don't worry about that. What you can worry about is Danny by an actress I totally forgot your name. Still, even with second footage, sorry for that. She's just basically both Sarah and John. That's also a huge spoiler, so I will also get to that at the end of this video. But yeah, Mackenzie Davis shows up, I think, immediately after just establishing Danny after that, and she plays Grace, and no last name. And I think going off of kind of funny thought she was going to be, because again, I haven't got to finishing Dark Fate. I will not put that card for spoiler reasons, in case you went through about 5 minutes of what I just said. Good for you. Still go see the movie. There is some good, actually. Before we get to that, there is some good. Tim Miller is trying his best with his version of the Future War, except we don't get a lot of time with it. Also, sporadic spoilers, because I'm really tired of editing this and keeping it on the camera, so sorry for that, but honestly, this movie is bad, but not Genesis bad. It doesn't bog you down the exposition about how this new Future War works. Good news there. Bad news, I would have liked a little bit more, not by much. Keep in mind, not Genesis bad, just enough to, like, explain to sound like, explain to me, long story short, I've had enough of seeing this Future War, not actually being a part of it, like in Salvation. And I think Grace's guns and their Future War is a lot like Salvation's, which makes no sense, because you see two timelines. What Sarah was explaining still had the original exoskeletons. I think they move in a CG-like sense, because I think they had no choice to do so. And then the Rev 9s, who Gabriel Luna plays. Thank God I can remember his name. For those who don't know Gabriel's body work, he was also Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think he left that kind of like mentality as far as his body language goes when he's trying to play this guy. Because aside from that, being just another Team 1000 wannabe or TX wannabe, for those who remember Rise of the Machines, no, he's fine. When he's trying to be an infiltration, when he's trying to like kill like Danny's family early on in the first act, you could see him, play like, a brother's friend, or like just somebody, like a friend of the family, or like some guy is dating somebody kind of thing, like basically like that. And when he goes in to kill Danny's dad off screen, not good there. But so was John's step family in 2. But you did get to see how the finality, you get to see it being confirmed it happened off screen. Like, it's none of that here, no. But yeah, it was definitely implied that, and her brother. Yeah, she has a brother. Not gonna mention his acting name, so sorry for that. IMDb for the cast down below. Pretty forgettable, because he basically self-sacrificed himself. And Grace will also, and there's a reason why. I really think she needed a real last name to basically double confirm something. But yeah, Mackenzie Davis herself, she's doing great as Grace, by the way. She's augmented. She's half human, half I guess whatever Marcus was in Salvation. So that's kind of cool there. Problem is she crashes a lot. And now, like, oh, she needs a nap or anything. No, like, she's heavily convulsing, and, like, all this stuff is, like, screwing up her brain and body and all that. And, has to, like, knock over, veterinarian offices, to get, like, drugs and shit later on with Danny. But more of that later. I just want to get to why I seriously am happy that, Lyndall Hamilton's back. Because she was just basically the audience. Like, the minute she saw we were seeing all these action sequences, I was like, oh, for God's sake, can she just show up? Oh, she shows up! Straight up tries to kill, Rev 9 on the spot, like it's nobody. Like it's nobody's business. For Hamilton herself, she slips back into this role 28 years after the fact, just fine. Which is awesome. I'm double checking on my mic also, because, yeah, apparently my mic and my camera is out to get me not to review this thing. Rise of Machines, huh? Anyway, yeah, so Linda comes back to this thing like nobody's business. And she's happy this thing is an R, because, wow, of all people, to say motherfucker the most is her, which is, understandable. She's trying to, process everything after the last couple of, decades in this case. And it got boring. The cardinal sin in my case is that if you make the F-bomb boring to listen to, you have screwed up the intent of your story. If you're going with an R, stay with an R. Respect it, I guess, swearing-wise. It's like she's trying too hard there. But other than that, she's fine. Like, if anything, I really would have loved this to be her Logan, to be her last movie, because she's been dead inside ever since John died in 98 in this movie's context. And has been just looking for a reason to either continue, have the hope alive of, like, just stopping these things in general, or is this going to be her life in a paradoxical way? Because, in all honesty, when Kyle was John's father, it's kind of a paradox of its own, and I would love to do a deep dive into the first two movies, except I don't got time for that, because now we have to talk about Carl, who doesn't come in until an hour after the movie, and if you all put the context clues together, that means Arnold Schwarzenegger is being used the least. He is basically a tertiary or secondary character to his own franchise that he himself built from the ground up along with Cameron and everybody else. And, it's weird to see it, but I also kind of understand. I'm not neurotic. I'm not going to go on how cringe it is, because the only cringe is the Border Patrol stuff for, I think, all of Act 2's action sequences, because Gabriel's Rev 9 is an awesome guy. Like, he could just, be like anybody. He could, like, dress up. Like, he doesn't even have to, like, pick up clothes. And Battery's really trying to screw me over, so third act is actually just fine. Grace self-sacrifices herself, and unfortunately, her and Danny are, I guess, swapped, Kyle and John. Yeah, Danny is this movie's John. She's not the mother of the future and all that. It's weird, but it's fine. Lyndall is still alive. Schwarzenegger does a self-sacrifice, which is still pretty cool. No thumbs up. Wish there was. And all of his text messages, which is I would love to leave out later on in the cards. Overall, 5 out of 10. Weird as that is, I hope it gets a sequel to see if they can actually measure up to it. I doubt that they will. And now, since I'm redacting everything, 2 out of 10 for Genesis, because whatever I said 3 years ago doesn't mean jack shit. It's definitively bad. God bless Emilia Clarke and Lita Headey from Terracotta Chronicles. Both of you couldn't hold a candle to Linda. She came back just fine. And I'm not kidding. She really is the audience. And I'm with her. I'm not calling that guy fucking Carl. Sorry for the demonetization. And, yeah. Rapid fire shots here for the end cards to see my previous video or possibly future video on Evil Dead month. Because I'm still going to get Ash vs. Evil Dead out probably later this week. Or next week. And, suppressing shots there to sub to my channel. Hit the notification down below if you want to continue talking more about this franchise. Slowly trying to kill itself. Out of the two of these movies that James actually executive produced, I still think Elite is the better movie. Like, he put the most time and attention to it. And so that all being said, for John. Yeah, it was a bunch of... the subtext for that is weird. Mind filled with plot holes, but it's still better than Genesis. Just not by much. Not by much, guys.